welcome to a very special international episode of What's on Draft. I am here in the 18th arrondissement of Paris, France. And today we're going to drink some beer in another country. Join me, won't you? Ah, gay Paris. City of love. City of light. City of perpetual secondhand smoke. With this being my first time ever in Europe, I really wanted to soak in the local culture and sights. I was blown away by the sheer beauty of the architecture and, of course, famous landmarks. Now, while it is perfectly legal in Paris to have an open container in public, this is a show about breweries, beer culture, and what's on draft, so I did want to eventually end up inside a brewery. Now, at first it seemed there was a brewery on every corner, since every few blocks I'd see a sign that said brasserie, a French word which literally means brewery. However, much to my dismay, I found that these brasseries were not breweries at all, but simply casual cafes that happened to serve beer. It seemed I was in need of a guide. As luck would have it, my friend Nicole is a beer expert living in Paris who goes by the name Tasting Niche. And the best part is, she speaks American. So my first morning in Paris, I met up with Nicole at KB Coffee.
I thought we were filming you. This is why I regret sleeping in. Do I still have sleep marks on my face?
No, you look great.
Oh, okay.
Immediately, she recommended we load up on some local carbohydrates before drinking beer.
Is that my croissant?
Chocolate croissant.
With a chocolate croissant and coffee in my guts, I was ready to try some local Paris beers. But first, I needed a slight change of wardrobe. Now, I've never been to Europe, but if there's one thing I know about the French, it's that they love Americans. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that I was from the USA, the best country in the world. Wait a minute, that's not an angry Frenchman, that's Dennis O'Connor from Thorn Street Brewing. Mutually thrilled to see another American, we frolicked through the streets until I lost track of him, and then I found my way back to Nicole. She'd gone to a local bottle shop called Super Beers, and the owner, Nico, was so impressed by my patriotism that he agreed to let us film in his shop and sample some French beer.
Welcome, dude. Anytime. Why does your voice go like, that's his American voice. His American voice. Anytime, bro. Yeah. He just left us in charge of the shop? Yeah, totally. Who's minding the shop? We are. We are, yes! Alright, well, free beer for everyone, I guess, then. Yeah, well, welcome to Paris. Yeah. It's cool to see, like, a young scene in a place that has so much history. That's the most exciting part, though. But beer itself is not something that they value as a tasteful, it's a taste. But it's changing. Mm-hmm. To people that are getting into this, they have to really pioneer it. People drink wine, or when they drink beer, they put syrup in it. French, I think, are just so young in it and used to yeast forward. They're really yeast forward. Oh, okay. But everyone's using the same yeast. I mean, it's all O5 yeast or enthusiast. What's your favorite Paris brewery? Or brewery, Paris area brewery?
Fais attention à ce que tu vas dire.
Of course, Brewer, I think they do really great beer. Coco Vino, I think, has really great beer. Beck and Donahue, of course, and then they're a little bit outside. Oh yeah, Outland, fantastic all the time. Jan is a beautiful brewer. His dad stout that's perfect for me.
We would have stayed there sampling beer all day, but Nico selfishly opened the shop and let customers in, so we had to leave.
Let's drink more and go do stuff. We're gonna get drunk. Good. Okay, well, the camera's off.
I tried a lot of local Paris beers at this bottle shop. Some of them were great and some not so great. My two favorites were beers from a brewery called Beck and Donahue and another brewery just outside Paris called Outland.
Le noble Ulysse jouait du danger.
Brasserie Outland is only about 30 minutes from Super Beers, so we decided to head there for a closer look.
Jamais dans ces épreuves ne songeait
We're so lost.
complice des embruns.
When we got there, Jan was still mashing in, so Nitch and I took a look around.
fier dormeur gardait l'exemple en mémoire de ce héros aux peines en...
So this is him?
Yeah, this is him. This is his old logo. Cool, right?
Yeah. Is there a tasting room here?
No.
He just brews here?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of looking at it. He's working on it. He just opened this place.
We were having a wonderful time rummaging through all of Jan's personal belongings, but then Nicole blindsided me with an unexpected tidbit of information about beer in Paris. So there's not a lot of refrigeration for beer here?
There's generally no refrigeration for beer here.
Every square meter in Paris is people. You don't want to put a cold room there, you want people.
Now, to me, this was the biggest culture shock of my entire trip to Paris. Not refrigerating beer sounds crazy, but here in Europe, that's traditionally kind of how it's been done for over 100 years. They usually store beer in the basements. A lot of bars don't even have high volume refrigeration because it's just too expensive to install it in these old buildings. Combine that with the fact that most French people don't even really care about craft beer, and you start to see that the odds are stacked against these new breweries pretty significantly. This isn't craft beer, by the way. This is just like what homeless people drink. I thought it'd be funny. It's like French PBR, but shittier. I don't know. I decided to see what style Jan was brewing, half expecting some classic French style like a Bière de Garde or a Blonde or a Saison. But it seemed American influence had already made its way to Paris.
First time we're brewing this beer, it's New England IPA.
Really?
Notoriously juicy.
That's right, the trendiest beer fad in the USA had crossed the Atlantic, a New England-style IPA in France. After he'd finished mashing in, Jan gave us a sample of one of his other IPAs.
We're gonna stick with American stuff, that's for sure, but then we're gonna add English stuff. And we're gonna have a tasting room at the front of the building.
Okay.
I could show you that, but it's basically mostly for locals because Parisian will never go out here. The future, I'm thinking of maybe having a beer garden there. Maybe Parisian would come for a beer garden.
Yeah, so people want more beer.
Yeah, want more beer, want things happening. It's just, there's nothing happening. When I started, there was absolutely nothing. But when I started, it was on the 100-liter
homebrew system.
Yeah, homebrew system.
Everybody.
So yeah, that's the idea basically. We're just kind of homebrewers with a professional system. So it's kind of classic American IPA with
a malt balance?
Yeah, 12 years ago. As we started, those styles didn't exist. How we discovered beer was through those beers. Even home, it's the same. It's a bit of classical American pale ale.
Yeah.
But then we're gonna do other kind of more modern stuff. We didn't want to adapt our recipes to a supposedly French palate. We just wanted to be as close as possible of what you tasted. So some are aggressively hoppy, and we just hope that people will get it. And we don't underestimate people.
Traînons un peu entre les ponts si tu veux nous dire.
So you get most of your hops from the United States? Yeah. Are there hop farms out here, or is the climate not suited for it?
They are. The thing is, I guess they were just growing hop for very big company that just want, alpha acids. That's it. No aroma. But I guess in the 5 years that's gonna come, we're gonna finally get the first results of
new varieties.
Them knowing that they shouldn't just throw away something that's very aromatic.
When it comes to malt, though, France is a big producer of malt.
Yeah, France. It's the biggest in Europe.
The craft beer scene in the United States, and especially in San Diego, is very crowded, and many would say it's reaching its peak. But here in Paris, it's just getting started, and it's very intimate. Later in the evening, Nicole took me to a beer release event for Outland, and it seemed everyone was there and everyone knew each other. It's a lot like how I imagine the craft beer scene used to be in San Diego maybe 10 years ago. All the camaraderie and none of the bullshit. Craft beer in Paris is entering its best years, the good old days.
We're actually thinking of buying this house.
Why not?
So that will be a staircase, basically, and that's going to be the tasting room.
It has a bar in it.
Well, it's a bar that used to be and the future Outland bar.
I'm gonna tell you what, sweetheart, this place needs some fixing up.
Yeah, I know.
This is great.
I could just have like tables and stuff.
There's a beer garden out here?
Smells like old cars.
Jan also hopes to eventually build a permaculture garden out back.
They're going to be using my spent grain.
You compost your spent grain?
Yeah, but the lava makes
just
it
speed it up,
a lot
yeah.
speed it up.
Okay.
Then you kind of once they grown, before they want to mate, you can feed them to fish. You kind of take the water from the fish and all the shit from the shit fish.
Yes, it's good.
it just goes to layers of salad, tomatoes, and comes back to the fish tank, and it's filtered. So basically, you kind of just with the spent grain get soil, fish,
For your
and
vegetables.
and everything is in a circle, and you just have to add spent grain.
That's cool.
The whole plan is kind of crazy. We would want to live around it and just be hippies and smoke weed and brew beer. And that's
Sounds
it.
great.
Yeah, that's the big plan.
Truly, the craft beer dream is alive and well in Paris, and it's getting better all the time.
Bar that we're gonna be opening, there was this space. We put the washroom and the
Cold box.
cold box, so all the beer is gonna be stocked there. And so as soon as it's done, it's gonna be kept there, so fresh and kept well.
Refrigerated craft beer in France. It's a good time to be alive.
Well, that is it for this special international episode of What's on Draft. I hope you had fun. I know I did. If you ever find yourself in Paris, check out Super Beers, check out Outland Brewing, check out Deccan Donahue, Latois 8, and follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next Monday.
Je ne sais quoi. Croissant. S'il vous plaît.
I don't know what.
Mouton, Amérique.